Every time your brake pads wear down, someone is going to sell you something. The question is whether they're selling you what they'd put on their own car. We looked at 9 brake pad brands, the ones you find at AutoZone, Walmart, O'Reilly, the ones the shop recommends, the ones the service advisor circles on the estimate. 6 of them have something in common that the packaging never mentions. 3 of them are what people who actually understand braking put on their own vehicles. Same promise on every box. Very different reality when things get hot. We're starting with the one that spends the most on advertising.
Wagner ThermoQuiet. Walk into any AutoZone in America, and the Wagner display is impossible to miss. Bright packaging, confident name, ThermoQuiet. It sounds like something designed in a wind tunnel. A retired fleet manager in Ohio, the kind of man who bought brake pads for 200 commercial vehicles every year for 3 decades, described Wagner ThermoQuiet to me like this. It's a marketing pad. Quiet as advertised. That's where it stops. He wasn't wrong about the quiet part. The one-piece, integrally molded design that Wagner introduced in the early 2000s genuinely solved a noise problem. Brake squeal at low speed, the embarrassing kind, the kind that makes people in the car next to you turn and look. ThermoQuiet eliminated that. What it didn't solve was what happens on the way down a mountain pass in July, or in stop-and-go traffic in Phoenix when the rotors are already hot from an hour of interstate driving. That's when brake fade starts. And that's when the gap between acoustic engineering and friction engineering becomes something you feel through the pedal. Wagner is owned by Federal Mogul, which is owned by Tenneco. Tenneco supplies OEM components to major automakers. That supply chain is real, and it's impressive. What's also real is that ThermoQuiet is not the product that supply chain produces for those automakers. It's a different line built to a retail cost target, wearing the credibility of a company that earned that credibility making something else. At $45 to $60 a set, you're paying for the name and the quiet. The friction material is the part that's negotiable. The next brand is more complicated because the parent company genuinely makes excellent brake pads. They just didn't put them in this box. Bosch QuietCast. There's a mechanic in Stuttgart who has never heard of Bosch QuietCast. That's not a joke. It's a structural fact about how global parts companies operate. The Bosch that supplies OEM braking systems to BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and Volkswagen is not the Bosch that designed the QuietCast line for North American retail. QuietCast was built for one purpose: to compete at a price point in a market where the Bosch logo adds perceived value that the compound inside isn't always delivering. The shims are thinner. The friction material runs hotter before fade starts. The warranty period is shorter than what Bosch offers on its Blue or Performance tiers. These are not manufacturing defects. They're cost decisions. Deliberate, documented, rational cost decisions made by a procurement team trying to hit a retail price that moves boxes. Here's what makes it frustrating. Bosch Blue, the professional line that sits on the shelf above QuietCast, is a genuinely good brake pad. Trusted by independent shops, specified in fleet contracts, available for roughly $10 to $20 more per set. The information required to choose correctly is publicly available. The packaging at retail makes it easy to miss. A customer who picks up QuietCast because they see Bosch isn't making a mistake exactly. They're making a reasonable inference that the packaging invites. They just don't know they had a better option 2 inches to the left. Before going further, the 4 checks that separate a legitimate brake pad from one that's borrowing a name. First, does the manufacturer publish friction coefficients for this specific line? Not for the company, for this product. Second, is this a dedicated brake company or a division of a larger conglomerate? Third, does the OEM supply relationship they advertise apply to this product or a different line entirely? Fourth, what does the compound do above 400 degrees Fahrenheit?
Most brake pad packaging answers none of these questions. That's not an accident.
Bendix. There's a version of this story where Bendix is the most respected name in American braking history. That version is accurate. There's another version where a 70-year-old retiree in Detroit picks up a box of Bendix pads at Meijer because his father used Bendix, his uncle used Bendix, and he's never had a reason to think twice. He installs them, they work fine. He never finds out that the company whose name is on the box is not the company that built the reputation he trusted. That version is also accurate. The original Bendix brake business, the one that contributed foundational engineering to how drum and disc brakes work in this country, has passed through multiple corporate owners. What carries the Bendix name in the retail replacement market today is a licensed brand operating on the equity of an engineering legacy it didn't create. Fleet managers and professional buyers who track compound consistency have noted higher than average dust output and uneven wear patterns on current Bendix retail pads. Heritage transfers to a name. It doesn't automatically transfer to a compound formula. The logo is the same. The metallurgy isn't from the same era.
ACDelco Advantage. This one requires precision, because ACDelco itself makes genuinely good brake pads, and getting this wrong in either direction costs you. ACDelco OE Service pads are General Motors OEM equivalent replacement parts. For GM vehicles specifically, they're the correct choice. Same spec, same compound family, same fit tolerance as what left the factory. Shops that specialize in GM vehicles stock them. Technicians who know GM drivetrains trust them. ACDelco Advantage is a different product. Same brand, different line, different compound, different hardware, different shim construction, built to a different cost target. It's ACDelco's entry-level retail offering, the one that shows up at Walmart, the one that gets grabbed by someone who sees ACDelco and reasons, correctly, that ACDelco makes good parts. The inference is right. The line is wrong.
On a GM vehicle especially, the Advantage line and the OE Service line exist side by side at retail, with similar packaging, similar brand presentation, and a price difference that doesn't immediately signal that you're looking at two fundamentally different products. The person who pays for Advantage, thinking they're getting OEM quality, isn't making an unreasonable mistake. They just weren't told there was a distinction to make. House brands. Every major parts retailer sells brake pads under its own label. AutoZone's Duralast, O'Reilly's BrakeBest, Walmart's EverStart adjacent private label offerings. These products are manufactured by whoever won the supply contract that quarter, formulated to whatever compound spec the retailer's purchasing team negotiated, at whatever cost structure made the margin work. A parts buyer at a regional auto parts chain, someone who'd spent 15 years on the procurement side, once described the private label brake pad market like this. You're buying a specification, not a manufacturer, and the specification is minimum viable product.
Minimum viable product means it passes the required safety threshold. It will stop the car. In normal conditions, driven normally, it will stop the car for years. What it doesn't mean is that anyone optimized for performance, longevity, or fade resistance beyond what the minimum standard requires. No one who built this product had an incentive to exceed the floor. The margin goes to the retailer. The engineering budget went to whatever makes the cost of goods work. Some of them are fine. The problem is that the packaging gives you no way to know which one you have.
Centric C-TEK.
This one is the most instructive because it demonstrates the mechanism more clearly than any of the others. Centric Parts makes brake components that serious performance drivers genuinely trust. Their premium lines, the Centric Premium, the Centric Sport, are specified by enthusiasts who track their cars, by professional mechanics who do their own Sunday driving on mountain roads, by the kind of buyer who reads compound data before opening their wallet. That reputation is earned. C-TEK is the economy line Centric created to compete at the low end of the replacement market. It's not a secret. Centric sells it openly as a budget option.
What happens in practice is that the Centric name on both boxes creates an association in the buyer's mind that the C-TEK compound doesn't necessarily deliver.
EBC Brakes. EBC is a British company founded in 1978 that makes friction materials. That's the whole business. Not a brake division inside a conglomerate. Not a licensed name on a contract manufacturing deal. Friction compounds, designed and tested in-house, with published data that tells you what you're buying before you spend $1. That last part is rarer than it should be. EBC publishes friction coefficients for each compound by product line. They publish operating temperature ranges. They publish expected wear rates. They tell you which compound is built for street commuting, which one handles track day temperatures, which one is formulated for tow vehicles that carry weight down grades. The Greenstuff compound runs clean, low dust, progressive bite, built for the driver who parks in a garage they care about and drives a car that cost real money. The Redstuff compound is ferrous-based, built for sustained heat cycles, the choice of the driver who takes mountain roads seriously or pulls a trailer on weekends. A brake engineer at a European motorsport supplier, someone who's tested hundreds of pad compounds professionally. Put it simply, if a company won't publish its friction data, ask yourself why not. EBC publishes. Most companies don't. That tells you everything about where they're spending the engineering budget. At $50 to $80 for a set, EBC isn't cheap. It's also not expensive for what the compound actually delivers. The transparency is the product.
Hawk Performance HPS. There's a shop in Denver, the kind that doesn't advertise, the kind that gets customers by word of mouth from other customers who stopped going to dealers, where the lead technician has been doing his own brake work for 22 years. He puts Hawk HPS on his personal truck. Not because it's the most expensive option, not because Hawk paid him to, because in 2 decades of installing brake pads, he's learned that HPS has a specific quality that most street compound pads don't. It bites correctly from cold. Cold bite matters more than most people realize. The first stop of the morning, the stop after sitting in traffic for 40 minutes, the emergency stop that doesn't give the pads time to reach operating temperature. Most street compounds need heat to develop full friction. HPS doesn't. The coefficient is consistent across the temperature range, which means the pedal feels the same whether you've been driving for 10 seconds or 10 miles.
The dust is slightly higher than ceramic compounds. That's the trade-in, and it's real. Akebono ProACT. The quietest story on this list belongs to a company most people in the United States have never consciously chosen. They've used Akebono. They just didn't know it. Akebono was founded in Japan in 1929. They supply OEM brake pads to Honda, Toyota, Subaru, Lexus, and Acura. When you buy a new Camry or a CR-V or a Forester, and the brakes feel right, smooth initial bite, no squeal, dust that stays manageable, pedal feel that stays consistent for 50,000 miles, there's a meaningful probability that Akebono engineered that experience. A brake engineer at a Tier 1 supplier, the kind of company whose name you've never seen because they don't sell to consumers, they sell to automakers. Describe the consumer brake pad market this way. The average buyer optimizes for 3 things: price, brand recognition, and whether the pad fits the box. None of those 3 things correlate with stopping performance. The industry has known this for 30 years and done nothing to change it, because there's no financial incentive to change it.
Somewhere right now, in a parking lot outside an AutoZone, someone is standing in front of a shelf trying to decide between 6 boxes that all say roughly the same thing. They're going to pick the one with the most familiar logo, or the lowest price, or the one the website recommended because it had the most reviews. They're not choosing differently because they have more money. They're choosing differently because they have more information. The information was always available. It just wasn't on the packaging.